Hello students, today I am going to show you how to make the histological or microanatomical structures of smooth muscles or diagrams of smooth muscles, skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles, including the neuron and nerve fiber. So the first one is smooth muscles. A smooth muscle cell appears like a spindle-shaped cell and it is broad in the center and tapering ends. It has tapering ends. So it is a spindle shaped, you can say, filled with cytoplasm, and in the center it has a nucleus which is oval in shape. If you want to make a group, these cells do not exist in solitary this thing. No single cell do not exist like this. They usually exist in groups. So if you have a say suppose a GI tract, or if you have if you are drawing the histology of a artery, then here you will find the smooth muscle cells, and these smooth muscle cells are arranged in circular manner. So when they are arranged in circular manner, so these cells are arranged in groups, and these cells do not have any space in between them. As you can see, I am drawing. They do not have any space in between. This is how a circular layer will look, and they will all be filled with cytoplasm as well as nucleus. This is how they appear in a circular layer, and they are present almost at 90 degree to the wall. But if they are present along the wall in vertical then when you take a cross section of the tissue, then these muscles in cross section are going to appear obviously circular. Cross section, as you are going to cut them in 90-degree angle like this. So if you cut it here, you will find the nucleus. If you cut it here, if your cut section passes through this part of the muscle cell, then you will not find any nucleus. This cut section will appear a bigger circle, and this cut section will appear a smaller section. So I'm going to draw, this is a bigger section and this is a smaller section. With the smaller section, you also find, if the cut goes like this, then you will find a bigger circle and then again a smaller circle if the line passes like this, 1 2 3 such, and all are filled with cytoplasm. यहाँ से जब when we cut, we will find a smaller section here. You fill it with cytoplasm and then you will place the nucleus. So how will you, in this end of this cell there will be no nucleus, whereas in the second cell there will be a nucleus. So in bigger circles usually will have a nucleus, but smaller circles will not have nucleus. So this is how the cross section will look, but they will be close by. So we will have lots of circles here. There will absolutely be no space in between. So this is how it is going to look in cross section, a smooth muscle cell. So smooth muscle cell is spindle shaped, tapering ends. Okay. Now the second one that we are going to cover today is skeletal muscle. Now in skeletal muscle, the shape of the cell is cylindrical. Okay. So the shape of the cell is cylindrical, okay, and they are attached one above the other and also on the sides. So we have cylindrical cells like this, on the sides. Now these cells have are in sort of a syncytium or in continuation. So the skeletal muscle cells when you see are filled with cytoplasm, and they have transverse striations which are only seen in high power. Transverse striations seen only in high power. These cells are do not have an intercellular barrier, so they will be having nucleus which will be many in number, and the nucleus is again oval but is at the periphery of the cell membrane. So you will find the nucleus like this. It is pushed to the periphery. So this is how a skeletal muscle is going to look. But when you take a cross section, of the skeletal muscle, then you will find that they will again be in circles. And usually the circles are of similar size. They do not have tapering ends to have smaller circles. Okay, so they will be of similar size. They will be filled with cytoplasm. But these striations will not be seen. Then how do you differentiate the skeletal muscle cross section from the smooth muscle cross section? Because here you will have smaller sections, and there will be some sections which do not have a nucleus. But here also, if the section passes through here, they may not have a nucleus. But the nucleus here is present central, whereas the nucleus here is present at the periphery. And there might be multiple nucleus in one cell. So this isn't it looking different? Okay, now the third one. The third one is cardiac muscle. Now, cardiac muscle also has cylindrical cells, but the cells are sitting on one top of the other, okay, and they have an intercalated disc in between. And the cells also branch out. They have branches which communicate with the other cells. So this is an intercalated disc. Here you can see, here can be an intercalated disc like this. So this cell communicates with this cell. Now there will be cytoplasm filled within. And these intercalated discs on very high power appear zigzag. They appear zigzag on very high power. It is not seen in light microscopy. You will only see as a line. But very high power, you will see it like this zigzag. And these also have very fine striations. Not like skeletal muscle. These are not very prominent, but yes, fine striations are present. like this. Now coming to the nucleus is present in the center and it is a single nucleus to a cell. So if you consider this as one cell, the nucleus will be in the center like this. Okay, here also there will be one nucleus, single nucleus in the center. Now when you take a cross section here, you have to understand that you have to notice the difference between the three. You have to notice the difference between the three. So when you draw, there will be circles of similar size, no big and small circles. Though I am not making very good similar size circles, but yes. Then circle may or may not have a nucleus, because if it is cut from here, it may not have a nucleus. But if at all it has a nucleus, these nuclei will also be present in the center. Occasionally, by chance, if the section passes through the branching like this, then you may see a communication between two cells. You may see a communication between two cells if it passes through the branching. But yes, there will not be any small circles. All will be of the similar size. So you have to be a little careful to see that cardiac muscle cross section as well as smooth muscle cross section. But this is present only in the heart. Okay. Now I am going to draw the neurons. Okay. So neuron means the first one, neurons. We have how many types of neurons? We have unipolar, we have pseudo-unipolar, we have bipolar and multipolar neurons. Okay, so this polarity depends upon the dendrites or the axons which are coming out of the cell. The dendrites or the axons which are coming out of the cell. So if there is if these extensions come out only from one pole, for example, this is a neuron. This is a neuron, and there's only one extension or one process from the neuron. There's only one process from the neuron with a central nucleus. We call it unipolar. Fine. Then the second variant is pseudo-unipolar. Now, pseudo-unipolar neuron will be similar to unipolar. Only thing is that this is the cell body of the neuron. Then the process which comes out for a very short distance and then immediately divides into two processes. One acts like an axon, the other acts like a dendrite. And here lies the cytoplasm in the cell body. And the nucleus of the cell body. Okay, so for a very short distance we have a process and then it immediately divides into two. So it gives a pseudo feeling that this is a unipolar neuron, but actually it is giving rise to two processes. One acts like a dendrite, the other acts like an axon. How do we know whether it is an axon or a dendrite? Because if the impulses are passing into the cell, then it becomes a dendrite. If the impulses are passing away from the cell, then it behaves like an axon. Okay, now we come to the third variant, which is called bipolar. So it is clear that it is, so unipolar neurons are usually not present in human body. Pseudo-unipolar neurons are present in dorsal root ganglion in the spinal nerve, and bipolar neurons. So bipolar neurons, there will be a neuron in the center, okay, and at the two ends there will be processes. I hope you can appreciate the difference between the three. Okay, this neuron will have, the bipolar neurons are present in retina, and this is the nucleus. Okay, so the two poles, one from where the axon or the dendrite is attached, and the second from where axon or the dendrite, the other one is attached. So two poles have two processes attached. The last one is the multipolar. That means there will be multiple poles. Sorry, multipolar. So usual neuron which we usually study in the school, it's like this. Okay, so this is one pole from where dendrites appear or are attached. This is an axon which is longest, and this is the neuron which contains the nucleus. I hope I am clear. The rest will be covered in the lecture, wherein you will be knowing the Nissl granules which are not present at the axon hillock and all those things. But histologically, we are going to differentiate or draw them like these. Okay. Now we come to a nerve fiber. So a nerve fiber, as from this you can understand that it is covered, the axon is covered by Schwann cell sheath. Okay, like this. And detail has been covered in the lecture. Fine. Now what happens? This gap is called as node of Ranvier. But what does this nerve fiber contain? So when you draw a cross section, you will first have a covering, the outermost covering of the neuron, which is called as epineurium. And it has multiple bundles of axons, and this line is called as, this is called epineurium. This covering is called perineurium, and it contains axon bundles which are covered by endoneurium. Now these do not appear like this you will only see the myelin sheath like this. You will only see the axons, the cut section of the axons, but you will not be able to appreciate these coverings. They need a special stain, and when you see the slide under special stain, it will be somewhat blackish in color, and it is going to appear something like this, that this is the epineurium. Epineurium contains bundles of axons which are covered by perineurium like this. It takes a black stain, and within the perineurium lies bundles of axons which do not take up that stain, and only the endoneurium takes the stain. So it looks like this, empty circles, because the axon is not taking the stain. Only the sheath is taking the stain. So this sheath is epineurium. This outermost sheath, this one, is perineurium, and the innermost is called endoneurium. Thank you.